writing seminar summaries. Reviews often help. That's why I used the instrumental music titled More, composed by Kai Winding. And let me mention right away that most authors and writers should enjoy this podcast because I'm presenting summaries of talks that are too long-winded. For listeners who aren't that interested in writing seminar summaries, you might want to tune out right now. My next podcast will be of interest to a wider audience. Now, I like to attend writing seminars because I'm a writing coach. And after listening to them for years, I can conclude that most writing seminar presentations for the same topic will give pretty much the same advice. And as I said earlier, they are often too long. But even if I know the topic, I still like to listen because the presenter puts his particular spin on the material. And for me, that makes it easier to listen to. So in this podcast, I will summarize some of the best talks I've heard recently by reducing the number of words and minutes. Here's a bullet point summary for how to self-edit your novel. There are 3 types of editing: content editing, line editing, and proofreading. Start your manuscript and get a bird's eye view of the overall plot from both the protagonist and antagonist's point of view. Do this before you start your editing. Then separate writing from revising, and revising is where editing occurs. Don't worry about grammatical errors or missing pieces in the overall plot when doing the writing. When you've written enough for the day, put your manuscript away, and when you work on it tomorrow, you can do a preliminary edit of what you wrote yesterday. Do that before writing the next couple of pages. Remember that a book is divided into chapters and chapters into scenes. A scene is one action occurring in a specific place, called the setting, by a group of people doing something tangible at a specific time and for a specific purpose or goal. You write it by showing via dialogue and emotions, not telling narrative. And do not head hop. Stick to one character's point of view. Avoid using too many cliches, backstory, and flashbacks. Use only the minimum of what readers of your genre expect. And when editing, root out crutch or weasel words like these adverbial intensifiers: really, very, and don't put adjectives or dialogue tags in too frequently. And if you want a great reference book for editing, get Strunk and White's classic that's titled The Elements of Style. And here's a bullet point summary for the 7 writing styles. Style is usually the writer's voice. Okay, number 1, period voice. The writing sounds like a classic novel written in the past. 2, contemporary voice. Clear, precise, and economical writing that is smooth, sleek, and easy to read. 3, lyrical voice. Sounds occasionally poetic. Uses imagery and human senses. Avoid overdoing it. If it is, the writing is called purple prose. 4, conversational voice. Sounds informal, like the author is chatting with a good friend. 5, comic voice. Sounds witty, or satirical, or humorous. 6, voice-driven style. Much of the writing sounds like main characters are talking to themselves. This is also called stream of consciousness. 7. Experimental voice. The author deliberately breaks the conventional writing rules. Reviewers like Kirkus and the judges of many prestigious literary awards love the experimental voice, but most readers find it confusing and boring. And here's a bullet point summary for writing a novel in 5 steps. 1. First, know what makes a compelling novel, which means it has empathy-building characters growing throughout the plot, that has suspense and tension building from start to finish. 2. Don't strive for perfection on the first draft. 3. Know your book's genre. 4. Create a flexible plot outline using the traditional 3-act structure and turning points, such as those found in Joseph Campbell's famous book, The Hero's Journey. 5. Commit to finishing the first draft before doing serious revision and editing. And here's a summary of what authors must do in the first chapter. 1. Drop the protagonist into the action right away. The fancy term for this comes from the Latin, in media res. 2. Show enough of the setting so readers know the time and place and feel of what's happening. 3. Give some reasons why readers should care and root for the protagonist. 4. Show enough so readers will know what's at stake, what's the conflict, and who's the antagonist. And the last presentation I will summarize talks about the 10 questions author must answer when writing a series. 1. Is it closed, meaning a set number of novels, or open, meaning the number of novels is unknown because the author is still writing them? And can these novels be read in any order? 2. What is the overarching theme or thesis of the series, for which each book will present it with a specific premise? 3. What is the overarching blurb for the series? This should be an extended log line and 1 or 2 page summary of the storyline that will help when writing the book's back cover copy. 4. What is the overarching story arc? Think of this as the W pattern 3-act structure containing plot and turning points. 5. Does the overarching story structure flow smoothly in each book, as well as the entire series? 6. Is there a cause and effect pattern to scenes and actions? 7. Does the protagonist's arc flow smoothly from start to finish of the series and within each book? Is the point of view consistent? That's 8. 9. Do all the narrative styles fit together? They are first person, that's I or we. Second person, you. And third person, he, she, it, or they. And number 10, is the tense pattern consistent? And that means, is it consistent present or past? And that'll end this podcast. So thank you for listening, and bye-bye until next time.